Greetings and salutations. So while I deconstruct this thing, I came up with a couple of ideas for my wish list. I'm doing a top 10 kind of wish list thing um where through a couple hundred hours of gameplay I've come to the realization that there needs to be a few little tweaks. And one of them is I love the option that the way that they have the factory in here, so you can kind of preload materials and then spawn them in. But I would like to kind of be an opposite set. So I need to salvage this thing because I know there was a game glitch that caused everything to kind of be damaged. And it's weird how it's almost like this didn't spawn in, right? And so you can see where there's no damage on the window, there's no damage on the blocks, but for whatever reason this little section, this whole section right here just didn't spawn in, and so it started killing some of my plants. And it's happened in a couple different zones. And then so a combination of that, and then there was a new Krill zone, new Krill drone that spawned in, and for whatever reason, my turrets wouldn't attack it. And because the turrets wouldn't attack it, it just picked me apart. It destroyed everything. I couldn't get anything to kill it. So I'm gonna salvage everything and then just put it back in the factory and then rebuild it. But I wish there was an option. So when I hit P, right, I wish there was an option in devices here where I could, or maybe it's main, and there's there maybe under here under general, right? There's a salvage. Maybe there's a bar that goes across here, and then there's a salvage option. And when I hit salvage, it would just take the entire structure and then put it back into my factory, my blueprint factory, and it would put it back into my mats, right? So I could deconstruct it. So instead of constructing an E tool, because I already own the base, but there's really no way to go through and salvage this stuff. A good way. I have to build a ship or something. It's just kind of a weird thing to where it's not efficient. And I realize there's gameplay elements and stuff they're trying to incorporate, but all these plants died because I couldn't salvage them, or I couldn't do anything with it. So the second thing I would like to see added is is when you get into your ship and it opens up a nav panel. So let's go over here. You can just see everything. Everything is just completely wrecked. Everything is completely wrecked. You get into your ship, right? You sit down on your ship, and over maybe there's hit Alt or I can't know. I forgot how to get my mouse up. But maybe in the underneath the temperature over here, or maybe in the top left corner, there's a waypoint nav panel, and I could hit like and they're hotkeyed, so I could hit like 2, and it would be waypoint 1 and 3, and it would waypoint. It'd be a way to have like a little nav panel in the top left to where maybe I hit my down arrow and I can cycle through my waypoints that I preset, and then that ties. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And that ties more into the second part of this. Is like when I go to the map and I go to the galaxy, right? And you can see here where I've done a lot of exploring. I've done lots and lots of exploring, and I've gone to all these galaxies, and I've pushed all the way through the map here up, and I've set teleport relays through all of this stuff, and I've got it to where I've linked a route all the way over to the legacy zone. It's pretty extensive, and I've explored all of this stuff, and dropped, like I said, I dropped those teleports and then mapped how much KPU they draw, how much solar power they draw, all the way up into here, and then explored a lot of this stuff. And so my thought process is there needs to be, that's pretty crazy, right? But there needs to be a waypoint system, because it is a giant pain in the butt to click on these, warp, click, warp, click, warp, click, warp, click, warp, click, warp, over and over and over. And that, you have to admit that that creates a ton of loading. And so I have to load probably 14 times before I get here. And really, if I've already routed through the universe and I already have a waypoint, because I do have waypoints over here, because I have a base over here. So if I waypoint all the way through here, and I get to this point that's over here, I should be able to just select my waypoint in the registry, and I should just be able to click, filters. Like, what's interesting is you don't have a filter for just your stuff, right? You have base, but it's not, there should be another filter here for just your stuff. And I should be able to be like, or a waypoint list, right? There's no, it's the waypoints are under their corresponding areas. So you can see I have waypoints in all these different areas. So I have 3 so I should be able to click here, right? And then, and be like, boom, and hit waypoint, and then, or hit set route, and then it should just, if I have enough potassium in my tank, it should just hit me one load screen, and I should be able to warp all the way across the galaxy. But the caveat is I would have to have been there first, and I would have to have dropped a waypoint to that location first. And so that way I just have the one load screen and the one warp, so it's that reduced time on the server and my machine in the process, instead of loading up every single galaxy. Because the suns, there is no threat in the sun. Like when you load into the sun, there is no threat. Like, it's one of those things where, oh, that's bad. There, let me connect. But it's one of those things where it's just a waste of resources, server resources and load resource, and that's got to affect the other players too, because you're eating up the resources for them as well. So I think it would also reduce the potential for corruption and errors along the way, because you're eliminating all these player fields that you're zoning into in the process. So it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. So let me see if I can network in. I don't think I can network into. No, I have the Skywatch here. How much space do I have? Okay, so let's do this Skywatch, because I'm gonna start. Where'd you go, Skywatch? Where's this storage bay 1? Okay, player. Hit F4 twice. There we go. Now I can see. Now I'm just gonna pull all this stuff into the Skywatch, because everything here is gonna get broken down anyways. I'm just gonna put everything, and I'm just gonna go to another. So yeah, there's 2 things, right? So there's the navigation system, a little bit more refinement on the warp and navigation system, along with the integrated salvage, right? The integrated. I got to be careful about disappearing refrigerators, because I have stuff in them that I need to move over. The integrated salvage, right? You can just hit boom, and all that stuff can immediately be pulled over, right? So you're just like salvage, and it all goes right back into your factory or your foundry or whatever it's called. So the third thing is a large potassium tank, right? We have a potassium tank. Am I saying that right? It's the pink one. It's the let me go F4. It's the Pentax, right? It's this stuff, Pentax, right? So the issue that I have is that the current tank is too small, and I kind of, as a recommendation, the way I'd like to see it is you can have an add-on tank. So you keep the current graphic, but if you want the expansion, there's a bigger tank that has a similar graphic visual presentation. Maybe it looks like a soda can, that's has the same visual swirl and whatever, but it has to attach to either the top or the bottom of the existing potassium tank. So the existing tank is really an injector, a Pendaxian injector, and um, and so maybe we rename it the injector because it does look kind of like an injector, and then you and then add a tank, a volume tank, to the top or bottom of it, and part of the the challenge is it has to be it has to be it has to be connect, right? So you can't stick it anywhere, and so there's kind of additional aspects of it. So that's the third thing, or maybe it's 3.5, right? So the first one is the I don't remember anymore, and the second one is kind of a nav display in the top left corner, along with easy access waypoints, and and then the ability, and then the third one is the ability to um, travel over farther distances if you have the potassium available, and you just get that one load screen. And then the fourth one is the viewpoints, because the view after I played lots of space games, and I'm not talking about cameras. You're kind of faking the camera, right? I'm not saying you add like LCD screens that display an image where you sit in the cockpit and you have like these four LCD screens in front of you that have the image. I'm not talking about that because I realize that that creates a retarded amount of lag. What I'm talking about, let me go over to a ship over here. What I'm talking about, man, I just got. I'm not upset about being wrecked, but I just got wrecked so bad, so bad. It's almost comical. Um, I think I'm gonna keep this one. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna salvage the mule, and maybe not. And then this one still flies, or maybe I'll pull the generator out of here. Okay, so what I'm talking about. So I'm here in my cockpit, right? So you either have this view, or you hit Alt, and you can what is it? V. Yeah. So you hit Alt, and you can pan around while you're flying. You can roll your mouse and pound around. But the problem is once you're in this look mode, the issue is it's hard to navigate while you're in this look mode. So when you're trying to land, let's say you're trying to land and you're in this look mode and you're pressing down, all of a sudden you start strafing to the right and you're all crooked, and it's just a giant pain in the butt. So my recommendation for the fifth thing I'd like to see added is, let's say you're sitting here and you're in the cockpit, right? And if I press V, it goes into third person view. And if I press V again, it'll look straight down from the center of the vehicle. And if I hit V again, it'll look straight up from the center of the vehicle, right? But in order to do that, I have to add blocks. I have to add a camera block. I mean, I'm using parentheses. You can't see this, but it's just an icon of a camera. Like, how we have those switches. It's, and it has you throw the switch and it opens the door. It's kind of like that. So when you add the camera, it's in a little icon. It looks like a little CTC camera. And when you add that camera to the top or the center, it just adds, what it does is it just adds a viewpoint. So you press V, and now you're looking straight down from the viewpoint of where you place that camera. You press V again, and you're looking to the right, and you can cycle through your views by pressing V. And I had posted this on the forums as an idea. There's a video I did about it, but I think what they perceived is I was talking about where you sit in the cockpit and then you can look at all, like you hit Alt and you're looking around and you can see an LCD with like the camera view from the back, displayed on that LCD. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about when you press V, it looks straight down from the point of view, and that wouldn't create, because that's exactly what's in the game. It's just right now you just have, like, if I could set a point of view like this, and I can just, as I press V, it cycles to that point of view, and I could just cycle through these points of view. I know I kind of over and elaborated on that, but I know some folks were having a hard time grasping what I was talking about. So I just wanted to flesh out that a little bit more. So viewpoints is number 5. That's so huge. So huge, because I've even set up like LCDs. Let me see if I can see any LCDs on here. Like, I've even set up they might be blown off at this point. Let me see. If I hit P, right, and I turn the power on, right? Powers up. See my LCDs? So I've come up with all these elaborate LCDs. See them on the bottom there? To try to help me land this stupid thing. And try to park, use it to park my hovercrafts. I got a hovercraft drone thing on the bottom of this, right? You can see where I've done a hovercraft thing. So I've way over engineered this thing to make it functional, and man, it's just such a beast to try to land and park. And if I could have viewpoints, it would make it so much better. I think it would improve the overall aspect of the game too. So let me show you another thing too that I kind of let me turn the power off on this. I'm in my salvage mode, so hit F. So another thing that I've kind of come across is the game. Don't get me wrong, game is fantastic, right? Fantastic. But these are little things that I've kind of noticed that just need a little bit of love. They just need so like here's my mining rig. Here's my mining rig. Fantastic. I got this off the workshop and I've reworked this front end and made it a lot more efficient. And it's just one of those things where it's like, let me get in here. Where's the door at? It's kind of more RP than anything, but where's the door? So one of my issues, there's two cockpits in this thing, which I like, but one of my issues is you're back here. Come on, let me in. You're back here, right? You get in here, you hit F, right? And so that's your field of view, and it's hard to see. And when I hit V, there's my field of view. I can't even see what's going on with the laser turret. So same thing. If I could add some viewpoints, I guess view snaps or view anchor points, huge difference in the overall gameplay. I think that'd make a pretty substantial benefit to gameplay. Okay, I'm done with views. I've talked about it enough. I apologize for the drawn out explanation. I just want to fully articulate what I'm saying. Okay, so that's 5, right? The 5 top things I'd like to see. Another thing I'd like to see is, I know they're going to do this. I'm pretty sure they're going to do this, but some of the melee weapons and the melee sounds, they kind of like the way third person wags, and also the center point on the view. This is a little bit more technical. It's not a feature adding set, but it's one of those things where it needs to be need to be refined, because it's just it kind of wags. You roll your mouse and you get this delay roll. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that revisited. I like to play in third person, like maybe over the shoulder third person, and it just needs a little. It just needs a little bit more work. It's not quite there. And I'm not speaking negatively of the game. I love the game. It's fantastic. I love the build aspect of it. Okay, enough talked about that. Number 7. Number 7. So I'm not in creative mode, so this will not be fully fleshed out. But and I did a video on this, and I watched a few other videos to get my head wrapped around what this is. And basically, what this allows you to do is set a preset of an area, right? You got your little blue shadow box that you want to capture, and you drag your box over an area, and you can basically save a preset of that area you want that blue box to sit over. And that's all it does, is it creates that preset of where you want your box to sit over. I would rather have that reworked into a function set to where, like, let's say I really like drone doors, right? I'm a big fan of drone doors. And so examples of drone doors are, let me go back over here to my ship, and you'll see over here, there's certain feature sets that I build into every ship, right? So I always do drone doors, because I find when you're in the cockpit and you need to leave the vehicle quickly, I always have a drone door on the back of my vehicle next to the cockpit when you just need to get out of that stupid thing, right? I got it over here, right? And since I always build these MCR ships, I use these same drone doors in all my builds because it gives that familiarity in that build set, right? So here's a drone door here, and so it's all tied in, right? I mean, and I always use the same angle. So when I go back to this, I would like to be able to say drone, name it drone door, and it's a preset. It's this preset. You can see my mouse up here in the top left of the drone door that I've previously copied. So I select it and copy it in the blue, and then I say, add to list, and I name it drone door, and it's always going to be there, right? It just keeps a text file in the registry of the preset of my drone door. And so I would like to see this bottom part right here flushed out, kind of, instead of it just being a memory of where the shadow box is located in the area, because that doesn't do me any good. That has no functionality to me. But if I could preset certain build components, like, boom, drone doors, I could snap it in, and I could be like, boom, thruster bay, and then snap it in, and it'd be much quicker to, and I could build more modular builds that way, and it would just help me out a lot more. And so that's, what was that, number 7 or number 8? I lost count in my ramble. So that's a big thing I would like to see added to the game, is that when you hit the N key and this show BP parts, I was like, I spent like 4 hours trying to figure out how to use this, because I was positive that's what it did. I was positive that if you copy something and you save it and you add it to the list, it actually memorized that component set that you copied. And then come to find out, all it did was memorize where that blue box was in the world. And basically you could switch back and forth between 2 different areas. And so that functionality is very limited. Like, if they want to keep that set functionality, that's fine. But they didn't maybe need to add another row down below it for presets. Like, and yeah, that it's just poorly kind of thought out, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But badly need to update that. And I realize that's not a big priority, but that's, when you got a couple hundred hours of building, what you end up doing is you end up loading in a bunch of stuff in the game already. You just start spawning in all this stuff, so that way you can copy your drone door, and then copy, and then you start piecing this stuff. See, this is what I'm talking about, that third person, right? I'm trying to get this third person thing going, and it's giving me a hard time. Let's see if this is, there we go. I'm going to salvage all these grow plots. So number 1, I remember. Number 1 was when I hit P. I mean, I own the structure. There should be like another box somewhere in here, right? Another box under general. Maybe it's a salvage button. If I just click salvage, the entire structure salvages and then goes back into my foundry. And the parts, right? All the modules and the parts just go right back into the foundry. And I think that would be a good workaround. Instead of building a structure, did I lose something here? Am I not connected? I lost connection. And I think that would be a really good workaround to, okay, that was a recap of 1. So what am I on, 8 now? I think I'm going to stop it at 8. I can't remember what 9 and 10 were offhand. I know there's a little bit of a ramble and a lot of explanation of some of these concepts, because they are a little bit more in depth to what, and they're, it's not really like you're adding feature sets. You're just refining current feature sets. Like, the view thing already exists. It's already there. It just needs a refinement of how it's used. So I wouldn't say I'm asking for more features. I'm asking for a refinement. Same thing with the viewpoint. When you sit in the seat, and you have your kind of nav display. Nav is already there. I'm just asking for a refinement of the current system, kind of based off of some of the other games that I've played and how they've done it. And I'm like, I could see where that would benefit this game. I could see that, but besides that, I mean, I'm not speaking smack about the game. I love the game. I think they've done a fantastic job. And I'm not mad that the krill ship jacked me up. You know, it is what it is. I'd roll with it. You know, it's part of the gameplay. I just accept it. Um, I would like to see the okay, let's say call this number 9. I would like to see, you know, when you're on a planet and it tells you, you go to general, you hit P, I think it is, and you go, there's a percentage of when you're going to get attacked. I would like to see more space getting attacked in space from drones. I would like to see that percentage of more. If you're in a faction area, you're going to get attacked more often by drones spawning in, and based off your reputation. And if you're in neutral space, you don't have to worry about it. So that might be an incentive to build in neutral space, and you don't have to worry about it getting attacked by a faction. But if you actually exist in faction space, it's going to be like you're on the planet, and you have a percentage of when you're going to get attacked. Like you're going to be attacked in 24 hours, or you're going to be attacked in bloody bloody bloody, right? Because I need that more interactive gameplay, because admittedly the game has gotten real sterile. I've done lots of exploration and lots of planets, probably visited over 200 planets. The issue that I'm having with is a lot of the POIs, man, they're super dated, and they're not you know, a lot of of them are just placeholders, and they really need to plug in from the workshop and be able to import in a lot of POIs from the workshop. That badly needs to happen, or just go through and cycle through. Maybe have uh, what do they call that? Not what do they do when they recycle it every month? Like Diablo was real big on this. Leagues, maybe do like a league thing to where the POIs refresh or update in the spawn cycle. I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things that's you know, and I know they're talking about an armor rework. That's not. I'm not going to add that to the wish list. I think the weapons are fine. I would like a little bit of a rework on the visualizations on some of the guns, because some of the models on the rifles themselves are like meh, man. They could be better. Um, the oh, I just, you know, I had it and I forgot about it. It's I had my ninth thing I wanted to talk about was I forgot it though. It left me. It left me. I guess that's the disadvantage of having TBI, right? You ramble a lot. Um, I can't remember. I wonder if they fixed the bug. I wonder if they fixed the food bug, because an issue that I was having was um, all of this decayed food. I wonder if they fixed it. I would pre-manufacture stuff, and when I pre-manufactured, what would happen was is the stuff that the stove or the processor added into the refrigerator didn't get the benefit of the refrigerator perk. Like it didn't. It was like putting it in a regular storage. It didn't classify it as being in the refrigerator. It classified it as being in storage, even though it was technically in the refrigerator. So that was one of the bugs that that I kind of needed to be redone. Let me stack all this stuff. Look at that, 405. Look at that. Wow. Let's see what I can. I'm just gonna break everything down and stick it back into the everything is gonna go in the factory. I love the foundry. Love it. Love this whole concept. Uh, love this whole concept. Right. Look, look, 509. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Look, it's 7 hours to make. I just feed everything into this bad boy. Also love how you can add stuff to the workshop. Um, you know, so I talked about views. I talked about more hostile stuff, more hostile environments. Also, you know, maybe like have like a solar wind. I know this is not really on my list of stuff that I'd like to see added. You know, but more random stuff that spawns in the universe. Did I get all this stuff? T. Yeah. I can't remember what I had the ninth thing lined up, and I cannot remember what it was. It was something. You know, I'm pretty happy once I under created those solar teleporters. I'm pretty happy with how they work and their overall kind of experience or whatever. So I'm definitely pretty happy with that. And I'm glad they added uh, turrets and mining things to the SVs, because I found out in my gameplay that SVs were almost obsolete. I mean, there entirely no reason whatsoever to use them, and I just pretty much abandoned them altogether. And so now I'm super happy to see that kind of be updated and a little bit more versatility in L. There we go. Got to turn my light on. Anyways, I'm gonna stop the video here. I guess we're gonna call it the 9 things that I wish they had added to the game. Um, I had something else, but I just can't remember what it is at this point. And it's I'm sure it'll come to me, and I'll redo this video. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt, right? You'll just watch me diarrhea the mouth for another 40 minutes. All right, thanks for watching.